Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Now it's been a while since I've done any videos at all, so I might be a bit rusty, but anyway, let's give it a go. So today's video is about how you can recover after Christmas. So if you're on a diet or you're planning on going on a diet or whatever, Christmas is the worst time of year really. I mean it's basically a period of two weeks or so, 3 weeks, where it's basically just a massive time just for binging on sweets and rubbish. And Christmas Day, if you're if you haven't been dieting for a long time, or even if you have been, I mean Christmas Day is probably the hardest day of the year for anyone that's on a diet. I mean, if you shouldn't really be restricting what types of foods you're eating, but if you have been restricting yourself, and not allowing yourself to eat chocolates and sweets and things, or alcohol, whatever it may be, you're going to be surrounded by a ton of junk food, of rubbish, and it's basically there for you to eat, as much as you want. No one's going to be judging you on Christmas. You're with all your family members or whatever. Perhaps not as much this year because of the situation, in the world, but it's basically, it's a terrible time to be on a diet, let's be honest. I mean, I do recommend just, writing off Christmas Day for most people. I mean, one day where you're eating whatever you want, it's not going to do you that much harm. So, I mean, but it depends, if you suffer with binge eating and those kinds of issues, then one day can do a lot more damage than it will for other people. So I mean, it's difficult for all of us, but you shouldn't worry too much about Christmas Day. I mean, it's gone now. I was planning on putting out a video to prepare, for Christmas Day, but I didn't get around to it. Been very busy. But it's done now. Whatever you've eaten, you can't change that fact now. I mean, it's too late. Don't try and compensate for it. This is the big mistake everyone does when they're on a diet. Just don't try and compensate, for your overeating. It can be easy, but it gets you into a cycle then. So, for example, on Christmas Day, if you've eaten, 4,000 calories or something, don't try and starve yourself for the next 3 days, to recover from that. Because what will happen is, you'll eat low for those 2 or 3 days, you'll probably recover to where you were before Christmas, and then you'll be tempted to binge on food again because you've been starving yourself too much. So if you have eaten too much on Christmas Day, say you eat 4,000 calories, and you're a man, in your 20s or whatever, normal size, a little bit overweight, whatever. I mean, you can eat 2,500 a day anyway, so you're only 1,500 calories over. So if you're doing a 500 calorie, deficit diet, then in a few days you're going to have recovered from that anyway on the diet. So, don't try and cut down loads of calories and try and, make up for that, for one bad day. I mean, we all have bad days. It doesn't matter that much, does it? I mean, part of dieting is you need to change, for the rest of your life. It's a lifestyle change. Now, obviously, you're not going to eat at those low calories forever, but you can't just do your diet and then go back to what you ate before. At least not in the same quantities. So, I mean, Christmas, one day it's not going to change your weight loss drastically. Now, I will say avoid going on the scales. I've lost a huge amount of weight, throughout my life without ever having any scales. And it's really something that can mess with your head. Because if you eat something salty, not necessarily even high calories, you will retain a huge amount of water weight. And that will make your weight balloon on the scale. I mean, I've seen the scale change 14 pounds, in one evening to the next day. I mean, it's impossible that you've gained or lost, 14 pounds of fat or whatever, or muscle, whatever, It's just not, it's just impossible. All it is water weight, and then, you know, the weight of the actual food and stuff in your system. So, you know, don't, I would recommend really, I mean, it is helpful to track. I do recommend tracking calories with MyFitnessPal and those sorts of apps, because it's very easy to just forget what you're eating really. You know, like you have a sandwich and you forget to put the calories from the butter, the margarine or whatever, or you cook and you forget the oil. You know, it's easy to forget those little things, or a bit of sugar in your tea or whatever, or your coffee. So, I mean, I do recommend tracking calories, but your weight, it's not necessary. If you're tracking your calories if you're tracking your calories well, and you know that you're below your maintenance calories, you've worked out your daily energy expenditure, you know, the calculators online for that. If you're definitely 100% below your daily calorie needs, then you will lose weight whatever happens, you know. It might not show on the scale. I mean, who cares about the scale? I mean, it's what you look like and what you feel like really, isn't it? So, I mean, don't worry about the scale. Just forget about it. You know, if you've got a scale, chuck it away. That's my recommendation, because I know from personal experience, it really, when I was a lot younger, a few years ago, I mean, the scale really messed with me a lot. You know, it really made me feel bad. You know, if I hadn't lost weight on the scale, then that ruined my day for the rest of the day. And you know, I try and, you know, I do all sorts of silly things, you know, to try and lose more weight or whatever. But losing weight, it's really just you know, it's about the long term. So, you know, one day here and there, what the scale says today, it don't matter. You know, it don't matter at all. You've got to be looking at, you know, in 6 months or whatever. I mean, if you want to weigh yourself, I don't know, every 2 weeks or once a month or whatever. And then you'll see, like, you know, the change in general, you know, rather than just seeing, you know, your difference in water weight every couple of days or whatever. Because, I mean, if you're losing weight healthily, I mean, you're probably only going to lose £1 pound, you know, a week, or maybe £2. It depends where you're at and things. You know, if you're very overweight, you will lose weight a lot quicker than someone that's got, you know, 15, 20 pounds to lose or so. So, I mean, you know, forget about the scale, and you know, whatever happened on Christmas or around that time or whatever. You know, just because you've eaten, you know, a few chocolates and some cake, a Christmas dinner, 5 bottles of wine, you know, it don't matter long term. It don't matter. Just forget about Christmas, and you know, within a week you'll have completely recovered and more from all the damage you've done. I mean, if you do suffer from any sort of eating disorders, binge eating or whatever, bulimia, that sort of thing, then you may have done quite a bit of damage at Christmas. But I mean, it's more important to work on those issues and you know, recover mentally, than it is to starve yourself for a couple of weeks to get back where you were before. Because, you know, you need to talk about weight loss and think about weight loss really over you know, a long period of time. It needs to be, you know, in 2 years, will I be at my ideal weight, and will I be able to eat, you know, like a regular person really? That's the thing. You don't want to be just, you know, constantly in a cycle of, you know, eating too much, starving yourself, recovering from that, and never allowing yourself to enjoy yourself really. Because there's going to be a Christmas every year, or other holidays and things, birthdays, whatever. There's always going to be something that's going to tempt you, you know, outside of your diet, or outside of the things that you ideally want to be eating to lose weight or whatever. You know, it always happens. You know, when I was a lot heavier when I was younger, a lot fatter. You know, I was how old was I? 18, 19. You know, my friends would all be wanting to go out. They'd be like, let's go drinking or whatever. And I'd always say, no, I can't go out, you know, because, you know, if you do drink a lot of alcohol, that can really, that just, you know, it can undo an entire week of a diet, really. So, I mean, it's all in moderation, isn't it? I mean, you can go out, you know, once a month, that's fine, you know. Don't worry about it, you know, forget about it. It's not bad, but every day then it's different, and it's the same for everything really. I mean, because it's one day in 365, isn't it? So, I mean, if you get the other 364 days or 360 days, whatever, perfectly on track, then, you know, you're not going to need to worry about a bad day here and there. You know, you just learn to enjoy your birthdays, Christmas and whatever. Now, I mean, I don't recommend doing cheat days and things. You know, like one day a week doing a cheat day or whatever. I mean, yeah, that stops you from binging, yeah, but how many calories have you eaten in that day? You know, you probably will gain weight over the week. Because I mean, losing £1 a week, for example, that's a deficit of 3,500 calories. So if you do yourself a cheat day on a Sunday or whatever, then, and you go maintenance plus another 2,000 or so, then your £1 a week will go down to less than half a pound. So, I mean, I don't recommend doing that, you know, but just forget about Christmas, holidays, whatever. Get back on track, New Year. You know, obviously I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting. So if you're into that, I reckon, or you've heard of it, or haven't even heard of it, whatever, just, you know, give that a try. That's something that's really worked for me. It's probably the only diet that's ever really worked for me personally. I mean, I have done just your general calorie deficit, but long term, it's not as easy to maintain. Whilst with intermittent fasting, you know, you've got that you've got a bit of flexibility there, really. I mean, you can eat, you know, it's not really restricting what you're eating. I mean, obviously you don't want to go too mad and be eating, you know, hamburgers and, you know, pizzas and whatever. But I mean, if you start your fasting and you wait until midday, you know, 12, and before you eat your first meal, and then you have until 8 p.m. in the evening, then, you know, in that time, if you do eat a pizza, for example, I mean, if you get you know, a pizza from a shop or whatever, you know, a store-bought pizza or whatever, they're normally about 600, 700 calories, you know, the whole pizza. So even if you did eat one of those, I mean, you've still got another 700, 800, and, you know, that's probably, you know, you're probably full. You're probably not going to be that hungry again before 8 p.m. So intermittent fasting does give you a bit more sort of flexibility there with your dieting, with the things that you can do. You know, give that a try. That could definitely help you, you know, if you've had a bad Christmas, if you've had a bad year in general. I haven't had a great year, I'll be honest. I've been struggling with the weight this year a bit, but I am back on track now. So, you know, try intermittent fasting. I'll put out some more videos about it, and, you know, hopefully, you know, try and give you some advice and help you achieve your weight loss goals, really. Because that's the plan, isn't it? You know, we all want to get to our ideal weight, or we want to lose weight, you know, to be healthier, or, you know, drop a few sizes for the summer or whatever. So, you know, I'll be here to help you, you know. If you enjoy the video, please subscribe, give me a like. I know I'm not used to speaking on camera, really, but, you know, I'm going to try and keep bringing you these videos, and, yeah, thanks for watching.